fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think that's very cool and very important to get your start if you want to do that. So, who were some of your role models or mentors as you navigated your career, and how did they influence your journey?
Some of my role models, not necessarily in football. Of course, Lori Locust and Jennifer King definitely took things to a height. I think I started coaching middle school when Jennifer King got on at with the Washington Commanders, and so
Mhm.
we kind of had started at the same time. And then when Lori Locust started with the Buccaneers, they were definitely just watching them, just knowing that it was something that was possible, was really, really instrumental. But as far as like coaching, Marion Washington, who was a head basketball coach at the University of Kansas, she started like in 1973, was like one of the first Black female coaches that I've seen, along with C. Vivian Stringer. Those were probably the two coaches that have been around the just coaching period. Um, that really were meant, or long distance mentors to me. And I'm actually excited that Marion Washington has agreed to come on my podcast on April the 9th.
Yes, that's beautiful. Definitely. It's always good to have mentors, people that you can reach out to, just talk about certain things. How do you balance the pressure of leading a team while also advocating for equal women's rights in sports?
There's never a balance.
Mhm,
You just gotta do what you have to do in order to make it happen.
mhm,
I think one of the things that is really instrumental is having other people that are advocates. Like, it's kind of like, I hate to even bring this up, but it's kind of like back in the slavery days. Like, we would probably still be slaves.
And what advice would you give young players who want to pursue football, who have that dream, that vision, that work ethic? What would you tell them?
Yeah. I would say that, everybody in the world has
Mhm.
talent and passion,
Right.
but I'm probably the only person in the world that'll tell you the bar is so low to
Mhm.
be a professional that makes it hard. And the thing that makes it hard is the endurance and precision.
Mhm.
Like, do you have endurance to keep your hand to the plow without looking left and right? Like, do you truly have the endurance to do that? And then can you be precise?
Mhm.
We talk about having butthole discipline. So
Mhm.
can you be precise even when it may be unfavorable for yourself? Like, can you be precise on what somebody's asking you?
Mhm.
Like we talked about earlier, like trust is earned.
Mhm.
So if you can have endurance and you can be precise in this sport, you're
Mhm.
going to earn the trust of first your teammates. It's not earning the trust of a guy like myself first.
Mhm.
First, you want to earn the trust of your teammates. And if you can earn the trust of your teammates by being
Mhm.
resilient,
Mhm.
showing that you can be accountable, knowing that you're a tough competitive player and you put them first,
Mhm.
then you get that opportunity to see like what's the other side of being a football player.
Self love is very, very important. Part of my research study was looking at like how media portrayals of Black love influence
Mhm.
our social identity. One of the things that I basically found in my study was this idea that the the more that we feel connected with ourselves, the more
Mhm.
that we feel pride in our own Black identity, the more
Right.
that essentially creates this protective buffer
Mhm.
that makes it so when we're looking at these like negative portrayals, it doesn't
Right.
phase us in the same way. I think
Right.
that self love essentially is the root of healthy relationships
Mhm.
because the more that you can work on yourself, the more
Mhm.
that you understand what you need, the more that you understand what works for you and what doesn't, and what your boundaries are, it
Mhm.
equips you with the tools to be able to navigate relationships in a way where you're not going to settle. You're not going to take put up with more of what you don't
Mhm.
deserve. So I think at the core of
Mhm.
being in relationships, it's understanding what it looks like to love yourself.
Right.
However, I also want to add on though
Mhm.
that when it comes to self love, I think this assumption of like, oh, you just love yourself, that
Mhm.
people learn love. Like love is a learned behavior. So
Right.
as much as it's important for you to love yourself, it's also very
Mhm.
important to put yourself in a position where you're
Mhm.
surrounded by love. Because a lot of
Exactly.
ways in which you think or you are taught love is how you
Mhm.
love yourself. So if you're
Mhm.
not put in positions to actually be in healthy spaces of love, it makes
Mhm.
sense why people are unable to love themselves.
advice would you give today to young girls, especially young Black girls, to achieve success both
Mhm.
on the court and off the court?
I would tell them to first of all make some goals
Mhm,
and decide what do you want and how do you think you can get it.
mhm,
And so, say for example, I knew I wanted to go play basketball, so I have like, okay, I have to set some things that's going to help me get there. I'm going to run every day.
mhm,
I'm going to shoot so many times a day. I'm going to study the game. I'm going to talk and find, like you said, find a player that I like that's excellent and study them and try to repeat what they're doing and copy them. I would tell them to always know that failure is going to bring success. You can't not have success without failure. And a lot of kids today, they fail and they want to quit. And they can quit now and transfer 15 times and do all that stuff. But when we were playing, you couldn't transfer. I mean, you could, but you had to sit out. And you know, if you sit out, you're going to lose some of your games. So I would just tell them, yeah, keep going and don't let anyone tell you that you cannot do it. You can. If you want to be good, you have to practice. You
right,
have to sacrifice. When everyone's going to the beach, you have to go lift weights. When
mhm,
everyone's out for summer vacation, you in the gym. When
mhm,
everybody's doing family barbecues, you got to go take care of your business and then you go.
mhm.
And that was the thing that I really stressed. It's a lot of hard work, and it's even harder now because the competition level is so high.
Us. Um, it's we just was saying is that these kids, if I can give any advice to the kids right now, is stop wanting things right this second. Go work hard for it. Go outwork something. It's like right now there's like 7,000 kids in the portal.
Mhm,
But let me say this: you enter the portal. If you don't get playing time, we understand that, and you're trying to get better. You don't enter the portal because you had
mhm,
a hell of a year. You're now the man on your team, and now you want to go to North Carolina because they can give
mhm,
you 700,000, but you don't play there.
mhm.
It doesn't make any
Right.
sense. So
Exactly.
now out of that 700,000, you got to pay
Mhm,
taxes on that. So that
mhm,
700,000 goes to 300,000,
mhm.
and
Right.
now your mama them trying to spend that money and pay their stuff. Where the money
Mhm.
at?
Right. Right. Right.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Or you go to school, you stay
Mhm,
your ass in a dorm room like
mhm.
we all did. You eat
Right.
at the cafeteria like we
Mhm,
all did. And if you're that skilled enough and that talented enough, the
mhm.
NBA come calling and you ain't got to worry about that no more.
Exactly. So it's fair to say that you feel like from the time you played at college to the kids that are playing college today, especially now with these new IL deals, it's very like it's vastly different.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, no Division 1 athlete is broke. Let me
Mhm,
say it again. There's no
mhm,
one playing
mhm,
Division 1 basketball, any sport. You're not broke.
mhm.
You get stipends. You
Yeah.
get allocated money for this and that. Now there's a collective agreement that they have to pay each player a certain amount. So you're not broke. Is that
Mhm,
everybody's trying to be filthy rich right
mhm,
now? And I
mhm,
understand as black folks, we didn't have shit coming up, blah blah blah. I get it,
mhm, mhm,
but we trying to be, we're trying to be, we're trying to have.
You're female, first of all, and you're black. So you have to battle with sexism and racism. But I use that as, instead of seeing it as a negative, I see it as a positive.
mhm,
Like we can thrive in spite of it. We can build ourselves up. We can unite with other black women and build positive platforms for
mhm.
our lives.
Very true. That is very true. And speaking of that, what role do you think media in particularly plays, especially in magazines, in reshaping the narrative around Black culture and representation?
Oh, that's a great question too. I think media plays a significant role. I mean, it used to play a negative role. We used to not feel as beautiful as our white
Mhm,
counterparts, but now that is changing. Where the media is starting to see us as positive forces in the world, and we're accomplishing great things, which is awesome. We really are changing the way Black women are seen in the world.
Right. I know in particular for me, like when it came to hair, the natural hair movement, like I said, I've been natural for about 10 years now. Before then, like I got relaxers really young, like yeah, very young. And I think the landscape when it comes to just embracing, kinks, coils, braids, has been amazing to see in the mainstream media, for sure. And so I know you are in talks about creating your own jewelry line. What inspired you to go that route as well in that creative space?
Oh yeah, I always love.
Really, really fast and succinct. And you gotta make, if you rapping it, you gotta make sure it
Mhm.
rhymes,
Right,
you gotta make sure it rhymes, you gotta make sure it flows.
right, right.
Um, and with comedy, it's more so just it's similar.
Mhm,
Like the writing process is similar.
mhm.
And it's just all of it has just been authentic, just telling your truth. That's it. Like, oh, it's just telling the truth. When I'm doing music, I'm just telling my truth or a truth,
Right.
in a rhythm. When I'm doing comedy, I'm just telling the truth, just talking. Like
Right.
I'm talking down and
Mhm.
just talking shit or whatever.
Uh-huh. Right. I know. So I know like creating, like we create for ourselves, right? Like I'm a writer, I like to write. And then like if I write a book, hopefully people like it, that means people buy it. But like, besides that, I like to do it. Like for me, like that's just my form of like, just creative and things like that. So when you're creating, how do you stay authentic to yourself, but also you know what your audience likes? So how do you balance the two together?
I just don't do anything that's not me.
Hmm.
I'm a big proponent of speaking your truth and telling your truth.
Right.
That you'll never fail doing that. You
Right.
know, musically, I can't. It wouldn't be wise if I made a song, a gangster rap song tomorrow. It wouldn't feel right. Like
Right.
I've been told, I'm like the Will Smith rapper, like the thing with Jada and I, but um, I'm like the Will Smith rapper. So like,
Right.
I make fun,
Hmm.
uplifting music, and like with comedy, it's just easier to just tell your truth.
Right.
Like it's just telling the truth. Like I don't
Right.
really do anything that's not me, you
Right.
know.
Hmm. Yeah, that's important. That's true, definitely. Because if you're not staying true to you, are the audience is gonna feel it. Like
They
be
know
like,
that, and they know that.
right,
They
right. And
know
be
that.
like, this don't feel like great.
Nah.
So you have a new project coming out October
Yes.
3rd. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So a long night, the getaway. This is part two. So the part a long night, the first part came out a year.
Hello, welcome back to Conversations with Epiphany. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Kelsey Nicole Nelson. She's based in the DMV area. She has covered some of the premier sporting events, including the WNBA Finals, NBA Finals, and the Super Bowl. Kelsey is a two-time Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Um, Man, he's from Sacramento, and he went to Kentucky. I can't think of his name right now, but he's hurt. So,
Right.
and he's not playing right now. So,
Mhm.
their team is even better than what they have right now, and they're playing pretty good right now. But I say that he probably needs like another good veteran player or
Mhm.
something like that, somebody that can help keep the team together because that he's a unicorn. Like he can almost do it by himself. You
Right.
know what I'm trying to say? He doesn't really need a lot of pieces around him. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because he does so much and he takes up so much space. But
Right.
really, they just need like a really good veteran presence. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And good shooters. Like if they have good shooters, guys who can, because they're going to double, triple team him. So
Right.
somebody's always going to be open when he has the ball. So just get him some good shooters around him, some good defensive players and veteran presence, and they'll probably be a dynasty in no time. Like I could see them winning 2, 3 championships in a row.
Right. And speaking of a veteran presence, like do you have like a name in mind? Who do you think would really elevate his game even more when beyond his game?
LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
He'd
Yeah.
be the perfect one. If LeBron, I know LeBron has maybe this is his last year in his contract, I believe. And
Hmm.
so next year he can be a free agent, he can leave or he can do whatever. I think that'll be a great pickup for Wembanyama. I doubt if it's going to happen, but
Right.
a guy like that, like somebody like that, would help him tremendously.
Right. And I know you got drafted late in the 1980s. So it's a big difference, like, between like when you got drafted, playing like, with the Charles Barkley's and Michael Jordans, everything like that. And so it was, physical, fast-paced era. What is the biggest difference you see in today's NBA game when it
Just
comes
the speed, the
yeah.
speed and the quickness. Like the guy, they're running all day. They make a basket, they're gone, they're gone, they're
Right.
gone. And the guys nowadays are way more athletic than we were. Not that we didn't have great athletes, but
Right.
we weren't doing the kind of things that they're doing with their bodies. Like it's incredible. These guys jump so high. These guys are so big, and that, like you didn't never see like when I was coming up,
Right.
and a guy like me get the rebound and dribble it all the way down to the other court and maybe dunk or pass or do something. That was unbelievable. That was like magic. Now it's just commonplace.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
could see. I was looking at Victor Wembanyama
Mhm.
his last game, and I just and then I was thinking about there's like two or three more guys his size that are
Right.
coming into the NBA, and they all can shoot, they
Mhm.
all can dribble, they all can run. So I was looking at that, and I said, man, and I was looking at the future of NBA basketball, and
Right.
I see
Let's stay on top of the quarterbacks. So, like I said, there are some pretty good ones coming, like top of the draft, straight out. But who do you think is the most underrated quarterback in the draft? Who could possibly be a gem for a team?
Just kind of looking around. I'm not sure if I necessarily say there's an underrated quarterback. There's Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, and then there's everyone else. Now, your names you could possibly throw in there would be a Kyle McCord from a Syracuse. You've got a Jackson Dart from Ole Miss you could throw in there as well. I mean, those are a couple guys. Maybe the guy for plays quarterback for Missouri.
Hmm.
Some people would look at him and be like, hey, maybe he's a guy. Of course, Will Howard at Ohio State, people are looking at his run through the playoffs and thinking, hey, maybe he can be the guy. But there's going to be a myriad of different quarterbacks mentioned after those two quarterbacks. You can kind of take your pick at that point. But Will Howard's a guy that potentially people look at, Dart, and McCord as well.
Right. That's really good. And I know Shador Sanders, he has definitely been on the top of a lot of draft boards, as of late. So that's gonna be very interesting to see where he goes. So let's talk defense, right? So a lot of talk about the Travis Hunter out of Colorado, Will Johnson out of Michigan, Mason out of Michigan as well. Who do you think would be a good defensive player to maybe take number one in the draft or like top three?
Top three, I'd say. I mean, Travis Hunter. You can't deny the the unbelievable ability that he has in terms of just playing offense, defense, and probably may see some special teams as well. You
Mhm.
never know, but his undeniable ability is unmatched with anyone that's in this draft right now in terms of the versatility and the explosion and just the game changing plays that he makes. So I would take him if it's between any of those. But the other guy would think about is Will Johnson
Mhm.
from University of Michigan. He definitely is a very, very talented corner. Quietly did his thing, and but do I think he's going to pick this high? No. Travis, yes, but I mean we'll see what happens. But yeah, Travis would be my guy that I pick. I told you a sleeper guy that some people may want to take a look at, and he didn't quite have a great junior year but he did some things. That'd be James Pierce Jr. at the University of Tennessee, edge rusher that can change the game. And we know how this is a more passing league in the NFL now. He would fit in just perfect with a slew of teams.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another rundown with Epiphany. Let's start with the WNBA. The Minnesota Lynx has lost to the New York Liberty.
Off to Stewart. 28 years in the making. The New York Liberty are WNBA champions. The original franchise has its very first title.
Series also starts tonight between the New York Yankees and the Dodgers. This is their 17th time seeing each other in the World Series. Take it to the NBA. The NBA season started off on Tuesday on TNT, where the champs, the Boston Celtics, got their rings. They also scored a new record against the New York Knicks, scoring the most threes in a first quarter. Also, the Lakers kicked off their season on Tuesday, where LeBron James and his son Bronny James first starred in their first regular season game.
And Bronny James just popped off the bench. Out of bounds, along with LeBron. History tonight. The first father-son duo to play together in an NBA game. This is all in the family. And what a celebration for the James family.
The presidential election is officially 11 days away, and today Democratic presidential nominee and Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Texas, where Grammy Award winner Beyoncé will be joining her on her campaign trail. Early voting goes all the way until November 1st, and November 5th is the last day to cast your ballot. My quote of the day is, God's will for my life. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. Thank you guys for joining me on my third rundown with Epiphany on the last Friday of October. I will officially see you guys on November 1st, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.